you'll get then 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes. The entire treatment then is administered to the person. You take it off, test, and the person is okay.
I would like one of these to hang on in something to put on yourself.
Well, you can do that with this too.
Yes,
you can wear it. This is complete in itself. Here.
Yes, but I would like the thin one.
Det bliver lavet i et ophæng, et trekantet ophæng, hvor du kan sætte den lille i. Så du kan hænge som halv.
You know, see, this is double pyramid. And that can be, I can give you then also the same triangular device, and you can put this in. That can be inserted. Now, double pyramid is a equal oscillator. It goes this way, exactly balanced. That's this one right here. Because as above, so below. I've taken that principle and it's made in here. Exactly balanced. So if you want to take the higher frequencies of yourself and balance them with the lower frequencies, you put that in there and you operate and oscillate as one body. These are, please, truly sacred symbols. I've gone into the study of sacred geometry. I've gone into the Kabbalah. I've gone into a lot of this early literature, and I'm taking the meat, the value from them, and putting them into real devices. Okay, where?
That's okay. Altså den dobbeltpyramide, den er markeret her med D. Der står mikro, hovedstad D. Så er det den. Og I kan godt se det på prisen, så den koster kun 25, hvis jeg lige får der rette sådan noget. Hvad ser du? Og så er der det der newsletter, sagt du selv, newsletter. Det koster $30 for 2 år i den amerikanske version. Og jeg gætter på, at den danske eller skandinaviske version kommer til at ligge omkring 300 kroner. Og den vil ikke komme ved anden måned, den vil højst komme ved tredje måned. Så jeg har simpelthen ikke energi eller tid til at klare det hurtigere. Ja, det håber jeg.
Good morning, everyone. You notice I dressed up for you because of the last day, even with necktie. It's my way of saying I'm happy to be here, and I miss now being with all of you. No, I'll leave it there for a moment. Sorry. Thank you. The great teacher we have in life is not other people. Because every person who speaks and teaches speaks within the limitation of their own mind, their own preconceptions or convictions. How do we gain real information? How do we gain that insight that gives us a true knowledge of ourselves? Who do we turn to for real inspiration? So many people start searching for an idol. And that starts early in life, in the attachment that people make to movie stars, Elvis Presley, the soccer teams, the people who do very well in various types of sports. Why do these young people do this? What is the reason? What is the purpose behind that attachment? What are they trying to identify with this attachment. And where do they go with that? The great sadness is when they attach, or we attach, to another human being. As we go deeper, we find that we are human. We have great big holes in our being. We struggle with these holes to perfect them. Thank you. And
Thank you,
the people then become disillusioned. They say, oh my God, he is only human. And they give up in their looking for something to attach to as a reference for themselves. I had the experience very early in life, at the age of 6, of dying. I experienced almost total transition. I suffered from double lobar pneumonia 4 times in 18 months.
What is that?
Pneumonia. My lungs filled with fluid, I could not breathe, and I was choking to death. The 4th time, the doctors had no penicillin at that time, said there's nothing more we can do. Prepare for your son's transition. The priest came, I was given the last rites of the Roman Catholic Church, received my first communion, extreme unction, all of the rites, all at one time. I was totally prepared. I will never forget, I suddenly was lifted out of body, and I saw my physical body, my parents, the priest, the doctor, as if I was looking through a lens. And I started to move up into this tunnel. And as I looked back, there was that beautiful, beautiful light. I cannot use words to describe that light. It was and is, in that light, a total expression of love. I was attracted to it. I was drawn like a magnet to that light. And then, suddenly, I was back in my body, and the next day, I was whole. No more pneumonia, running around as a kid. So from dying to living in 24 hours. My question, why am I alive? What is the reason for my not dying? I was ready, prepared, and suddenly I was pulled back into life. I went to my parents after I was able to talk to them. I said, Mommy and Daddy, why am I alive? What is the reason for my life? They couldn't give me any answer. I went to the priest. They couldn't give me any answer. To the nuns, even to my own doctor. No matter who I turned to with a human body, I received no answer. I then started to go within. I learned meditation at the age of 6. I was drawn, like the most powerful magnet in the world, to go to church. I served the 5:30 Mass in the morning. I would get up before 5 o'clock, walk was 1.5 miles, and sit in church and keep that question going. why am I alive? I want to know why I am living. There is a purpose now to my life. I want to know. I banged away every morning for 4 years asking that question with nothing happening. A total blank. How many of you would have done that? What drove me was an inner conviction that if I persisted in my prayer, an answer would be forthcoming. Until finally, one morning, the door opened and a voice spoke within me. The voice said, "You will be a chemist, a phosphor chemist. You will write a book on luminescence. You will then build your own corporation in this field and then do fundamental research on rare earth phosphors." It's about as explicit a set of answers as any person can get. I went home, borrowed $1 from my grandmother, bought a $1 chemistry set, and became a chemist. I did not challenge those statements, but I started to put them into action. Within a year, I had a full-blown laboratory in my bedroom. The stinks were too much. My parents, because my mind ranged in 101 different directions. I had no fear, and so I made everything from nitroglycerin on down. I went into explosives, I went into pyrotechnics, I went into phosphorus. I was interested in light and all of its manifestations. I had many a fire. What?
You didn't blow the house up?
Well, I had fires on the roof, my dear. I scared my poor parents again and again. They never knew what was going to happen. I would dig a hole in the ground and boom, up would come the ground. But within 2 years, I had a full-blown laboratory with wet chemical lab, microscope room, and a dark room. I got my chemicals, I got the glassware by going to Justine and Care, the chemical supply house, and going into the scrap bin, but they discarded. They gave it to me. I did service by packaging and helping them in the packaging room, and they gave me things. I learned glass blowing, and I had a full-blown laboratory. By 13, I had synthesized the chemical that is in the firefly, the light of the firefly, the bioluminescence. It was an 8-step organic synthesis. Normally it's college work. 3 aminothalus, 1,4-dione. But when you mix that with an organic oxidizing agent, that whole beaker became light. I'll never forget that thrill. When I went to school, I said there will be a marriage of chemistry and physics. It is unwise to specialize just in chemistry or physics. We will have micrologic components. We will have equipment that will act as we have now in transistors. I saw the movement of current and the action in these little tiny micro-logic systems. I said, I must prepare myself for this work. He said, well, we don't have any education. I said, all right, I'll educate myself. I did that. But what happened? You isolate yourself from your teacher, you isolate yourself from your fellow man, and you stand alone. But throughout my life, I have learned to go within, to pray, to contact the friends, the teachers we have within each one of us. Draw that strength, and then walk without fear. And that's what I share with you. Yes, I come here as a friend. I come here to share what limited knowledge I have and know. But above all, I come here to be a catalyst to you to think, to act, and to do. From this moment on, I can help you whenever you have need. With what I'm doing in California, we can link together, bond on a friendly basis, not a competitive basis. Competition in this area is so destructive. It has brought me in my laboratory again and again to tears, sadness. I share this knowledge with people. They grab it, oh, I've got something, and they want to run with it. And they run, and I just have to leave them go. And then they stumble and fall and come running back and say, well, what's happened? And I've had to learn to be tolerant, because by nature, I am not. There is that type of strength that you need when you've had to work alone, that I've had to overcome to learn to work with people. But in working with people, we go from the I to the we, and that we opens an infinity of knowledge. The great teacher we have is nature. The great teacher we have of understanding ourselves is our children. If you can listen to the counsel of your own child, who you have brought into this world, you have nothing to fear. But how many of us as parents, how very many of us, have put our children down. Don't tell me what to do. I'm your parent. I know what needs to be done, and you shut up. You shut that channel, and that child withdraws, and then goes and looks then for another source that they can consult or be proud of or respect. We must learn to let our children teach us. And that's exactly what Christ said when he said, suffer little children to come unto me, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, which is within you and me. I had the privilege, the wonderful privilege of meeting Pope John the 23rd, that roly-poly pontiff. I heard him in public audience. I was only a few feet from him. And his opening remarks to us was the following: I am a simple peasant. I I loved my food and my wine. And he took his hands and tapped his great big pot belly. Very rotund, very short. And then he stopped and looked at all of us and said, I am a simple servant. I am here to serve you. And then he made the remarks which engraved themselves in me. He said, you are the church. The church is within you. And that is true. Because when you look at yourself in totality, what a wonderful gift God has given to us to have these faculties of body, mind, and spirit, which we then can cohere together, this trinity of activity, into one being, three in one. And when we deal with it lovingly, it all acts as one. And we can create, and we're here for that purpose. That's exactly why we are here. One reason to continue the acts of creation. We ensoul the matter with our love and our thought forms, and when we do that, matter takes on that form and becomes what we want it then to be. Look at the outpouring of minds of the past generations. But also look at what you are doing, each one of you. Wonderful accomplishments each one of you are doing and bringing into being. Your talent, your capacity. Because as I look at you, I sense a faculty in you, a capacity that draws me to you and makes me want to help to bring this about. Your intrinsic ability to manifest your purpose here on life. And once we can do that, we bring peace on earth and goodwill then to our fellow man. The morning discussion is a tough one. It's been the most difficult topic we have. What is our soul? What is the nature of the soul? How can we begin to understand that faculty, that power that we call the soul? In the book that I am writing on crystal therapeutics, the first chapter is the soul. A total reversal of anything that you would logically follow in any book so far. But let's take on the most difficult thing. What spoke in my body when I persisted for 4 years? It was my soul speaking to me. I wanted to know why I was here. If each one of you asks that question, it will come to you in your time and for your good. But you must persist. And in that persistence comes the strength, the coherence, and the ability then to act when it speaks. There's nothing magical, there's nothing mysterious. Because the teacher we have in soul operating in matter, manifesting itself outwardly through the chakras. Because these are the oscillators that propagate the information codes and the patterns that move out. And as we do that, we link to one another, we link to the universe, and we become one with the all. Now we can put the foil in. Here's a diagram. Can you all see that? All right. Here's the flame, the monad or spark of the divine energies from this flame. The flame divine goes into man, descends into matter, and goes into involution. It involutes, compresses, then it evolves in man into a personality, a persona. Notice, this is a triad. Thank you, sir. These diagrams are very real and very significant. You notice you have exactly this here. The involution of the forces. Now what does a triangle do? When you take light, the physical light that we have from the sun, pass it through a pyramid, which this is, what happens? The light is diffracted, and out comes what? 7 colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. 7 colors and no more. This was discovered by Newton. You take any one of these colors and put this into another prism, it's no different. The prism now will diffract this color here and it comes out the same color. So they are primary colors. So when we form our personality of the body, the mind, and the spirit or soul, we involve the ego or personality first. That is a reduction into form of the spirit, the love of God. Now, it emits from that action 7 oscillators. These are the chakras. You follow? Because of the triadic nature of the activity that is going on within us. Now, when we take and do the synthesis with our soul instead of the personality, the ego, we take the triangle, pointing it up. The soul now is going towards the divinity. It then processes these 7 rays, unifies it, and links us to the one. Now notice an interesting thing. When you take then 2 triangles, one this way and the other going the other way, what emerges in here is a hexagonal shape. Do you notice this? Now, what is the natural shape of quartz? Hexagonal. See it here? The water molecule, when it is frozen, takes on what? A hexagonal shape. When you take a snowflake, water frozen and you get a snowflake, what is the shape of the snowflake but this? You see the beautiful symbolism tying this all together? The descent into matter, it goes into water, and water is the processing system for all of these forces. It's so simple, there is so much contained in it. So what I did, I put a symbol together expressing the totality of our being in here. By so doing, you can take, no matter what type of therapeutic individual you are, draw your breath in, hold this, and imbue this then with what property you want to be injected in for the need of that person. And when that is done, you put it on the body is whole. Because this is in God's.
Marcel,
Yes?
can you use it as a placement?
As a what?
As a placement, if you...
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
For example, if you put a sapphire, it says that if you put a sapphire, you can see lila, violet,
Right.
the ray of violet.
But you can take that and put it right in here if you want, right on the top.
Yeah.
You put sapphire on here, draw your breath in, hold your breath, and the sapphire is in here.
Yeah, but I mean, can we see, for example, here I have a sapphire, can we see the color of lila?
Lilac? I don't know.
Because it should be the crown chakra.
It is.
The sapphire, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we can get it out. No. No, it's not, it's too small right now.
Or for
But
example,
what I will do is this, and I'll show you something.
yeah,
I'll clear it. I'll hold it this way.
yeah. Yeah.
Now you feel the crystal. Just feel it between your hands. All right, now I will take the sapphire, put it on here. See? Now I draw my breath in. I see the sapphire with my mind's eye. Feel the vibration now?
It's just I have been working with the 7 rays according to that system.
Right.
And I would so much like to see, for example, a pearl, the color of orange, because I've never seen it. You know,
You can take this,
yeah.
hold it in your hand in meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Go into a particular chakra. The color will emerge and you have that color in there now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wear it and you will experience that chakra open and that color. Okay. Now we go further. Yep.
The triangle.
Yeah, that's something. Now we such a pity we don't have more time, but now every tissue in our body will take from a primary oscillator within us, which is the oscillations of the genetic materials in the nucleus of our cell are creating fields. And these fields now move out from the genetic code into the chromosomes, the nucleus, cytoplasm, tissue, the organism itself, and finally the environment. Now, each time there is a movement, there is a loop, a feedback loop. It's electronic curve. It's exactly the same as electronic systems. So it moves out, links, and then it feeds back, moves out, links, feeds back. And so you have a series of outwardly moving feedback loops until you come out here into the environment. This now is your auric field. It's expressive here in the aura of the entire pattern from the primary genetic code to all the interaction in your organism. Now, how can you separate that or decode it? You ask questions. The answers are forthcoming by vibration or color or shape geometry. As I go deeper, as I gain further insight, I will be giving you handbook after handbook of method of decoding this information. The work is just starting. Now we take the same thing and look at man and his bodies. There are 7 bodies. We start with the physical body. The second is the astral or emotional body. There is then the next, the lower mental body and the higher mental body. Now, the lower mental body is the rational mind. The higher mental body is the intuitive mind. We then go to the buddhic body. The next is the atmic body, and finally the monad, the I am or the self. There are 7 bodies that encompass the totality of the force fields that are within us. Now we can start and give a verbalization of these bodies, and that is, I act, which is the physical body. I feel, the astral body. You see how this ties in? I think, which is the lower mental body. I know, the higher mental body. I love, that is the buddhic body. I will, the atmic body, and finally I am. Final totality. I am what I am. So that's a totality of bodies, all encompassed into one. Sri Krishna, I am the self, seated in the heart of all beings. How wonderfully said. I have so much here to share with you. I can only cover a bit of what I have. And what I'm going to do will be a unique experiment given by you coming to me. I will take the core of knowledge I have right here in this book. When I finish, put it into the big crystal. You will all meditate on it, and we'll extract, and I'll try to transfer it all to you by means of the crystal. I can't do more, but I want to give you everything I possibly can.
Well, that's enough.
All right, now let's look at the soul. What is our soul? The main characteristic of the soul is consciousness. I think, I am conscious. I can see you. I can express myself to you. Element of the soul, the vital activity of the soul is consciousness. What is the organ in our body that is spoken of as a window of the soul? What do you think? What? Eyes. The eyes are the window of the soul. And through the media of our eyes, we link to the soul of another person. The soul as life is seated in the heart. And, watch, duality again, is rational, spiritual consciousness is seated on the throne between the eyebrows. Right here, the ajna center, pineal gland. That activated, that brought into vital activity, your pineal gland, it brings the soul into full functioning and activity. And that is the seat of all of the efforting of the work that we do in spiritual evolution, the metaphysical work that we do. The vital or etheric body is composed of ether. Your etheric body is substantial. That means it is energetic. It is a proto-form of matter. It's not matter per se, because it's not yet been pushed down into the dense physical. So it is etheric. This etheric body acts as what? A conductor of prana. Prana is drawn into the breath. Prana comes from the solar bodies, both the sun, the various planetary bodies. So we draw this vibration through our breath into the lungs, pass it out through our body, and store it in this body. It is a body. It is processed then through the etheric body by thinking, structuring the water in our physical body, and we now have the information transferred into dense matter. And now we have the means of communicating to ourselves. Prana is the life principle which energizes matter and produces form. The vital body embodies the sentient principle for the soul. In other words, the soul resides here in space because it is not material. The soul can communicate to our body through the etheric body. Or the vital body is the expression and vehicle of the soul. And that is why we must study well these concepts. I now speak with extreme love and respect to the writings of Alice Bailey. I've studied now since 1970 the writings of Alice Bailey, and I have every volume that she has published dictated to her by Raj Gul, the Tibetan master. I'll give you a bit of humor. I was tough on DK. My first book that I was given was a treatise on cosmic fire. Those of you that are students of Alice Bailey know what I'm talking about. I couldn't read it for the love of money. I didn't know what he was talking about. All of these verbiage, language, hierarchies, statements, I tried to put it into logical framework. Watch. I couldn't do it. It is impossible. It's not meant to be thought of and read logically. Underline. I then said, I bought more books and became even more confused. Finally, I meditated one night and I said to DK, if you want me to use this information in any real way, give me some practical way that I can use it. I am fed up. I've had it to the top of my ears, and if I don't get any form of help, I'm going to chuck the whole mass of these books and give them away. That was my meditation. Boy, did he take me to task. When you lay it on the line with these masters and teachers, they don't fool around. I was taken out of body as I was going to sleep that night and brought to a valley in the Himalayas. I was deposited in front of a temple. I can still see these doors with extreme clarity. And as I approached the doors, suddenly my consciousness faded and I went to school. I awoke in the morning and I started to read. I learned how to read Alice Bailey. That went on for 2 years. One morning, a voice spoke again within me and said, you've had enough, go out and teach. I said, thank you very much, I will. But I will teach you my words and not yours. He said, okay. I love him very much. I love him as a brother. I respect the integrity, sincerity of his writing. I have found no fault in the logic, the thinking, and the way he has approached the teaching of occult and esoteric information. Occult means hidden. Esoteric means the teaching of the Spirit. These forces that you and I are talking about and are working with. What he has done is he demands you or I not read the writing, but experience it. I have had to take passages from esoteric healing and read it 100 times. It's like a mantra, and I will speak it out loud. I will read it, I will read it, I will read it. And gradually the words start to fade, and in place of the words comes a symbol. And I will write that symbol. Then I will come to another area and I will repeat this. Comes another symbol, and I start to put hieroglyphics together. Symbolic patterns. Exactly like the symbolisms that you see in Egypt or the Chinese writing. Because you've got to evolve from the words, the symbolic patterns, the earlier language, the universal language. That was only the first step. Once I got that, then I looked for what is called coincidence. I take another passage that sounds the same, and what did I find? There was an additional nuance given in that passage. I read that and suddenly more come in. He goes in and repeats again. There's an additional part happening. He deliberately, willfully gives you a bit here, here, and here. And if you don't go and search and find it that way, you're lost in the quagmire of the involved thinking that he imposes on you. You must think, my friends, in multi-dimensional reality. Not in 3 dimensions, not in 4, but 8 and 12. Because you've got to construct, as you read, a octahedron, 8-sided form, and you start to oscillate, and gradually information links together, and you now have a constant. All disease, according to DK, is the result of inhibited soul life. That is a fact. And once you inhibit the activity of the soul descending into matter, the body goes wild. It loses control and starts to act in an undisciplined way. But knowing how to bring the soul in contact lovingly. Love is the glue of the universe. Love is that force that takes matter and gives it order, balance, integrity. Go on, keep talking. Here, I love this. Crazy little diagram. My little Buddha. Here's our body. Your soul is here. The energy travels along threads, sutramas, here, sets up a vibratory response between the brain and the soul. Breath is the link and the key that the soul uses to the body. It then starts a process of drawing the information in dwelling Ida and Pingala, 2 different polarities. We read like this. Breath is life. But breath is not only life, but the total transfer from the soul into the body of the informational codes. Sources of information. We get by observation, we perceive 1, order, power, intelligence. That is the intrinsic form energy. Form plus energy gives you a new form with understanding. It's then capable of replication. You can take a liquid crystal from cholesterol. You take in our brain, there is cholesterol esters, cholesterol oleate, cholesterol acetate. You make a combination of these, put it under the microscope. And now you can inject into that liquid crystal an idea, a thought, and it will start to form around that thought, and you'll have an image. I thought of our Blessed Mother, held the thought for a period of time, about 1 hour. And at the end of that time, there was an image of a woman with her hands folded. And I photographed it. Easter time came, and I thought of Christ and the resurrection. And on the film, the liquid crystal came a cross. I call it a flaming cross. It is a symbolic representation forming from your mind on this material. All solid objects on the physical plane are such only as long as they are perceived through the senses of the human body. If we limit our observation to just these sense organs, we lead a life of illusion. When we open the intuition, our soul, we then see the intrinsic form that we then can fit patterns of observation of the senses to and complete our thinking. End of story. You hear what I'm saying? We, all of us, in the educational systems that have been imposed on us, have been brainwashed to destroy the intuitive faculties, and as such, we inhibit our soul. You see the seriousness of this? Do you? I mean, I've gone through a lifetime of training as a scientist. Without my spiritual training as well, I would have been a hardcore, rigid, conformist, material scientist. To break that egg, to take that concrete out and make it human, I've had to learn to lift my consciousness up and become a child. Not destroying any whit my integrity in technical and scientific work. It expands. But we must work with both faculties, without fear. But it is sad how we wipe out the intuitive faculties of our children. I gave in the Unified School District a 4-year course on mind-boggling class to open these intuitive faculties. And it was wonderful. These young girls and boys would stand up in class and say, I woke last night and there was a person standing at the foot of my bed. What should I do? They tried to talk to their parent, their mother, their father. They said, you're only imagining this. Go to sleep. Forget about it. But that child saw an object at the foot of its bed. It was and is real. What should she do? So, in class we discussed it, and I said, the next time it appears, you speak to it. I said, what can I do to help you? Can we put this down? Do something? Triangle?
Not there.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
that again.
I just put it back there. Now, what could I do to help you? That night, that young girl was awakened again at nighttime by an apparition, a figure that appeared to her. She looked at the object now without fear and said, what can I do to help you? And you know what it said? I need prayer. It was one of her relatives who was able to break through the barrier during sleep, connect to her etheric body. She said a prayer for this soul, and the image faded in front of her eyes as she prayed. I had her tell the story the next day in class. It took all fear of darkness and all fear of these type of apparitions from the hearts of these children. look at what we do instead. We're only imagining. It's not real. When you see with your mind's eye, it is real. It is not imagination. It is a creation, at times for teaching. When children go out into the woods, and suddenly these little people appear, and they come running back and tell their mother and their father, oh, we see these little people. They aren't real. They are important because we do have the various kingdoms of nature. The Devic kingdom, the fairies, the gnomes, and the like. I experienced them with Rock Ogilvy in Findhorn, and we talked to these kingdoms together. I can speak from personal experience. I saw them now not as a form, but as vibration, as light. And that's what they are. They are light bodies. But as you, they love us. In order for them to express themselves to us at times, they will draw the essence of our body into theirs and take on a form. So we can see them as a imaging of ourselves. But in truth, they are pure energy. But once you can release yourself from that, you can walk into these kingdoms in a loving, happy way without, again, fear. That is really what I've tried to share with you and to say, is to open up both hemispheres of your brain, to let your soul speak without fear, and to let that child emerge and counsel the activities that go on in each one of our lives. And when you do that, you have nothing to fear. You are what you are. I've done it. I've had to struggle at times, but I've never had fear. Because I know what I'm doing is for purpose and for reason. And this goes. I've said my piece. Now I'll go deeper. I will try again to go one step further in going step by step into everything that goes on when you do therapeutic use of a crystal. Would you like that? Yes. I gave you yesterday a very important help that you can teach and train yourself by going in to physical forms and manipulations. Now, that is going through the crystal, but today we're going to talk about you. What goes on in you? What are the steps that you must go through to be of service, to help, and to serve your fellow man? Everything I gave you this morning is substantial to what we are going to do now. Number one, is an A-box. We must remove doubt, remove fear, remove uncertainty. Uncertainty. How do you spell uncertainty? Forget it.
S-C-R-T-A-I-N-T-Y.
C-E-R-T-A.
A-I-N-T-Y.
Thank you.
You married at Christmas Symphony.
Pardon?
You married at Christmas Symphony.
Good. The first step is in yourself. This is the A, the self, the ego. Remove doubt. Can I heal or not heal? Do I have fear? Am I uncertain of what I'm doing? So before you go into practice with any of this, you have done the preliminary yesterday of being certain of the practice, that you've done it to the point you don't have to think about it anymore. In other words, you go in, you hold, you tune, amplify, link, and release. And you repeat this again and again till you've locked it into your mind. You clearly understand that, but that's working to remove these technical pieces. Now we'll go into the left and right brain. Left brain, right brain. Activity. Right brain is logical. Left brain is intuitive. Right brain is ego.
Isn't it the reverse?
Yes.
All right, yeah. That is right. It's just the reverse.
That's an R. There you go.
Well, I was so happy because I thought, well, that makes sense to me because usually it's reversed.
No, please. If you see something, I'm at the point now of fatigue. I will start to make mistakes. So if you see something, correct it. I'm proud of you when you can do that for me. All right. Now, the point is this, that you want to open the door towards your intuition. You want to bring yourself to the point that you are not concerned about technology, about what you are to do. Is that clear? See what I'm working towards? Now, to do the removal of doubt, I usually, if you have watched me carefully, you'll see me suddenly draw my breath in. I'm holding then my breath at a certain peak level and putting it like onto a balance, a scale. I'm burning away doubt, fear, uncertainty with breath. Any question on that? And as soon as I feel my breath at a calm equilibrium state, I let my breath out slowly. And I listen to my breath. If there is uncertainty, there will be a tone to the breath. There will be a voice in my breath that will tell me, I've got still a bit to do yet. So I take another breath. And I hold, and I just say balance. Bring myself to a point of calmness, peace. Then let my breath out. And then suddenly when I have the breath the way I want it, the body just drops down, and you hear no breath. It's just a silence of the at-one-ment. No longer a tone, it's just silence. So the key in balancing self is silence. Is that neat? Follow? You've got to still that jangling pattern of thinking. And for a technical mind, it is a murderous job because you continually saying, what am I to do now? Is this right or is this wrong? All of that has to be erased. Just be. And at times, the most wonderful way to create that silence is a bit of humor. What I've done, I've looked at a young lady or a woman, I said, you know, you're really beautiful. And she, oh, what are you trying to do, proposition me or, you know, something like that. But I'm recognizing the beauty I see in her. Now when you try it on a man, it becomes even more difficult. But it is a recognition of a beauty in a person to create the silence, and I'm burning away this. That is the core. Once I have that feeling of balance and equilibrium, the next step now I focus on the person that I'm working with. I say, do you want to be healed? And the times they will say, of course I do. When they do that, then I'll repeat it. Do you really want to be healed? Because I'm injecting now the implication that you must heal yourself. If I have concern yet for that person, I ask the next question. I will say then, do you want to accept your body and the state it will be after yes or no? Do I really want that? And it's surprising how many people really do not want to be healed. They're satisfied in making themselves dependent, especially when a person gets on in years. They want to have the help of their children. They want their children still coming to them. So they create dependency. And as a consequence, if you were to remove that, they suddenly feel helpless. They can't put their life together. Do you really want to be healed? But when they sincerely mean that and they're ready, then the door opens. Then remember, you hold it in the right hand, and you have your hand on the shoulder. You're programming now the crystal after you have charged it. It is a programming, a real programming from the soul. Because you're working to open here, first your intuition, your soul, and second the soul of this person. Not just an ache or pain, but contacting that still voice that is within each one of us so that can speak. Once that does really speak, you're ready to work. And then you lock that program in with your breath. When the dialogue is complete, you draw your breath breath in, and just pulse your breath. That locks the program into the crystal. Now you're ready to go because you have it programmed with your feeling, your love. You have it programmed with the intention of that person to bring about that change which is right for them. Everything is clear up to now, isn't it? Now, when you go in...
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
This morning we talked about programming the crystal for one time and how you can do that.
I don't follow you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What do you...
We were some people talking about...
Oh, I see.
Yeah. From the other course.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe you should tell
Why
us.
don't you-
About the white light.
What, me?
It was about the white light to program in it and not to
Erasing.
Yeah.
Fine. You're dealing here with now, remember, let me go right back now to what we have done with the crystal to treating a person. We clear the crystal. It's not clear. You can bias, or you can limit that clearing to anything you want. Now, if you've done meditation with the crystal, and you've built up the love in your heart, you've built up a certain volume of energy in that, you can put in your mind and just say, I want to keep that, and just erase the unneeded vibrations, and you will hold it. Come on, I think it's important that you see this.
This would be enough to make that soft form.
Right. Come on up here. I'll demonstrate this right
The
now.
white light also.
Yeah, well, I'm going to show this to you because this is very important, and I think I want to clear all doubt on this. Why don't you come up and we'll do this together. I'm going to deal with your crystal. Now, erase the crystal completely. Now, hold it in your hand like this. Now, a little up, like that. Just hold it. Now I will check it. Take it down a little bit lower. That's fine. Now I'm going to ask if there's any field in that crystal.
What do you mean about field?
Energy. If there's any, is the crystal devoid of any energetic field? I could pick this up if I had my omega-5. Now I'm going to use just the dowsing rods. See, I draw my breath in. And we let the breath out, and I start to balance. Now I'm ready. There's no peak. There's nothing. Now, charge the crystal. Watch it. See the distance it is now? Now give it another charge.
Programming.
Why not yet? Just charge it for love. See if it's fully charged.
I just need...
Okay, let's test it again now. That's out here. So you didn't fully charge it. And now the distance here, watch, here's the distance. I'm going to put a mark. Here. Here, keep right here. We're running out of ink. into that crystal? Mantra or something that you want?
Forever.
Forever.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel it swinging.
I know you do. I feel it here too. Eee. Thank you. She's getting that. Now let's see what it is. There's a field out here. See? Going even further. Now, we are here. So we went from here to here.
What if it's down in the wall?
What?
If you can read the wall.
I'm not going to pin on the wall. I wouldn't want it either. Now, that is your permanent program, right? Now, erase the crystal. Erase it in the normal way. No, you know how to clear the crystal.
You want to clear?
I want you to clear the crystal now.
But shouldn't I do? I was told that I should put a ring of light around if I want it to be permanent.
Well, you could try both.
That you have
Put
told that,
a
but
ring.
maybe it's not necessary.
No, because once you said
I programmed it already.
permanent program.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
had said to yourself, this is permanent. You
That's it.
That's it.
Well, we're going to test this now. Now clear it.
Yeah, okay. But not from that program, but that was permanent.
That's permanent program
Yeah,
right
okay,
now.
I clear it.
All right, now clear it.
Okay.
Clear the crystal. Now hold the crystal up.
What were you asking?
Just to measure the field that's in there.
Okay.
Now watch. Come over here.
Yeah, okay.
Do you see what I'm showing you now?
Yeah, yeah.
You have this here,
Yeah.
now here.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you use the crystal in daily meditation and mantra, are there limits for how much it could be charged?
No limit. Goes on to infinity. We got numbers in a crystal like this. We started in, I'm going to show you this diagram here, where in Germany, just 3 weeks ago, there were about 27 people, and all of them had their crystals. 4, 6, 8-sided crystals. I measured them with the omega-5, and the value for the energy in the energy body and the etheric body was in 3-digit numbers. 678, 454, all 3-digit numbers. At the end of 4 days, where we had Mass each day, received communion, exercises like I'm dealing with you now, the energy in the crystal went up to 3 times 10 to the 31st digit. One with 31 zeros in back of it, and then the final digit. Went from 1,000 into, I don't know what type of a number, with 31 digits, and it was still going. You see? Now, what was remarkable was, when we started, each crystal that a person held was their crystal, had individual numbers. So there was the individual characteristics of the energy in the physical body and the energy in the etheric body. When we finished, the numbers were all the same. We became one body, and guess what the number was? 454. 454, both within the body and outside the body. I mean, that was a revelation, an absolute revelation. And I had 3 people measuring. In other words, 2 other people beside myself, and we got the same numbers, which meant that we were all linked into a common body. We had pictures of water. The water had the same value as the crystal.
If another person borrows your crystal and puts an evil intention in it and wants to store that program with intention, what would happen?
All right. What would happen? You'd hold it in your hand and you'd feel a vibration. Now what would you do to click it?
Well, I'd fill it with light.
Okay. What neutralizes evil intention?
Love.
Love. Now, when you become reasonably sensitive, you do the normal charging like this, it would not stick. You get no stick. You get no feeling to it. I've had that happen because I've let the crystals here, everyone handles it. Suddenly I will pick up a crystal and it will be no feeling. It will be not even sticky. It would just be like a piece of glass. What do? I draw my breath in, watch. And now I look at the program. I look at what was the intention put in here. I face it. I don't try to hide. Then I put a beam of light, of love onto it, like that, and it's gone. That's all you have. Now look, immediately sticking. Yes?
You don't need to say you are putting out the power program. You don't have to think on it. You just think what is in your crystal and clear everything.
That's right. You can put a mantra, you can put different holy places you've been to. You can lock these things into your crystal as permanent as my facing the crystal in the form you see here. When we finish this crystal, the intention when my wife and I package this is that this crystal will do no harm. It will be for the service of mankind. And we have encountered that people, when they try to work with it improperly, the tips will pop off. I've had many cases of pop tips. But all right, play with words. But to release there is nothing, my friends, nothing to fear about another person handling your crystal. Because what you have done here is personal. It has a code that I cannot address or you cannot address. It is your code. It's just the same as you type into a computer a program and the address you take away. Now, nobody can get into it. It's there, but you can't get in.
How long time will that field remain intact?
I have had it for years.
And if you add an additional program, it will overlap.
Oh, sure.
Not extend.
That's it. Well, the practical experience, here is a curve I got. For the grouping of people that were the conference. Now here's this 10 to the 1, 10 to the 5th, 14th, 5th, 10th, 15th, 20th, 25th, 30th, 35th. And it's first, second, third, fourth day. And here's the actual curve we got for a composite of 21 people. So each one of these points represent a composite measurement of 21 people. Look at the nature of that curve. It is accreting. It accretes composite. And then you get then numbers which are truly astronomical. But the interesting thing is this was very slow at first, and then suddenly the curve at this day was, it just suddenly jumped up. It went from 10 to the 13th to 10 to the 33rd in one day's time. And we were high. I mean, a high that I've never experienced before. It was a wonderful sense of tranquility and peace. It does hold a charge. You can piggyback on the charge. Now, it depends. The stability of this, at this point, depends on your mind in maintaining that charge. Because this is a dynamic instrument. This is not a static instrument. This is a unique part of this tool. Tape is static. Because once you record, it stays. It does not change in quality. This does. Watch. You're at this level. You have the crystal in your pocket, but you drop down, you suddenly get shocked or you get depressed. The whole charge will go just out and you will lose it. Now, you can, and I have done this repeatedly in the laboratory, put certain permanent programs in like this. And I will give it to another person. They'll work with it, have them erase it. Now I've tried bulk erasers, just mechanical erasers. I will take everything out except this. And I can measure this with the omega and then with the secondary equipment, and that's still there yet. I can lock in a program. Yes?
In other words, what you were saying is that, for instance, if my level is high, my crystal will be a holographic picture of my level of energy.
That is right.
However, then my question is, if I want to use my crystal as a stabilizer of my level, can I program it, maybe put within it a permanent program which will enable me to avoid the pits, the depth of a slump in energy?
That's why you go to this.
I see.
There's a symbolism to do that stabilizing act.
I see. And the same in the small pyramid, right?
That's right.
Good. Thank you.
You follow me?
I follow you.
Put that on here. Transfer. The program you have from here to here. Then you can wear this. Now you can stabilize.
Also because it has the basic, the ups and downs, the yin and the yang.
It has the yin and the yang
Yeah.
properly, symbolically, and physically put together to hold that energy. This is designed to be a dynamic instrument, which means it continually monitors the activity that is going on in you. But I can lock a particular vibration in here and hold it. So you see how these two fit together. I'm opening up a whole grouping of instruments like this. Yes, dear?
You have a good, good we can put all we want really for a person. You can be what the cell be, all what the cell be. We can do it perfectly.
That's right.
And one for all.
Right. Now, what I am planning to do, and you are the first people in the world I'm going to do this with, is your crystals. I will take all of my knowledge up to now, put it into this crystal. You will hold the crystal in your hand, your healing, your crystals, and I'll try to project that into your crystal. You then lock it into place. We're building a white light and the intention that this become a permanent part of your crystal.
Permanent program.
Yes, permanent program. So now you have it with you in your crystal of all of the teaching I've given you. Yes?
There's a few people in here, they don't have a crystal yet, but they'll get it.
I will put it in when we send it. Because I have all the foils, and I will take this and I'll imprint that before I send it to you.
And if you don't want to have it,
You don't have it.
I want it.
You don't want it, then you don't get it. No, you see, I do what you want. I'm here to really serve you. So if you want just a blank crystal, you get a blank. Then you can fill it with all the things that you would like. Okay, any other question? Yes, dear.
Yes, I don't know if I'm able to explain this clearly, but I think of the story of the seven plants. All your plants stored are not stories, actually. The seven plants which died when you didn't think of it.
Right.
Yes. If you had programmed these plants with a crystal and told
They would never have died.
They would never die.
Never.
But I have since I met you, because they tried with my crystal to pray and send the program to some of the patients.
Right.
And I'm able with my pendulum to measure the effect.
Right.
And I've had very astonishing effects.
Could you come up, please?
But now I'd like to know if my thoughts and intentions are fading, partly because I have...
Just come here. Yeah. Why don't you repeat so everyone could hear about this, then I'll go with you deeper on that.
Yes, I have many patients because I make blood analysis.
Right.
And when I first met Marcel Vogel, which has been the most wonderful experience of my life, I just want to say it, I thought that maybe I could give my patients a little mental warmth, which I have so far missed to be able to give them, because I'm not a spiritual healer.
Right.
Not at all. And I use the Christian prayer and put a program in it, and put then after I had released it, I put the crystal on the blood drop and so on for some minutes. And in an hour I could see the effect, and after 2 or 3 days there was a really astonishing improvement in the health.
Because do you know what you have done now from what I said this morning?
Yes, yes.
You reconnected their soul.
Yes, yes. And I also saw very clearly on the final
Pineal gland. You activate this, because
Yes,
normally
yes.
this dies in childhood, and when you open that up, when the pineal gland is opened, you become a child again.
Yes.
That is what it means, is to open this gland to activity.
But now I have 2 questions.
Good.
The first one is, when I am not thinking of these persons, because it's impossible when you have OT. Do the program still works?
Please.
And
What you can do, you have a blood sample.
yes.
The person has deep depression, much unhappiness, let's say. You hold a crystal, visualize them, and put, I pray that this person can face their unhappiness and release themselves from it. Pulse your breath and put it on. That program now will continue to operate. But it does not violate their free will. Because, you see, the energy is there, but they can use it or not use it.
And they are not depending on my source.
Not a bit.
Oh.
Totally. You're free.
Yes, yes. But another experience.
Are you clear on that now? You see what I'm saying?
Yes, but
Good.
if you program many people a day and think very much of these matters, couldn't it empty your inner soul in a way? I feel I've got a splitting headache.
When that happens, you're letting your ego come in. Your feeling body. Your desire for these people to be well. The key thing we must practice, all of you here, you and myself, when we finish, we take a deep breath and we release. Loving detachment. When you can get that, there's no headache, there's no fatigue. Yeah, because, you see, you are a loving person. You're a woman, you're a mother. And the moment you reach out and want that person to be well, you're depleting your energy. It's really so important to everybody who does healing. You help the person, but they must heal themselves. When you deal with love, it's a universal force. It is a force that you cannot empty yourself. Because the more you give, the more you get. But the moment you attach your mind, I want that person to be well, you're drawing your body energy. And the trouble is, you're reflecting your body as an electrode into that person. And that's why your energy goes down. And that is the value of the crystal. It is a protector, a shield.
You owned up.
I'm more than happy. That's why I came. You see, I have seen throughout the world so many, many sick healers. They grow here in the stomach, they take on weight, the body becomes distorted, and the key is they release and use their body energies from the solar plexus. When you deal with that, that is power, and not from here or here. Not my will, but thine. When I work with any one of you, I surrender. I give up my will. I do not try to heal you in any way, shape, or form. I'm working for your good. You, my dear, when you're working with these poor people who have been tortured, the moment you open your heart to them, you're dead. You're through. You can stand maybe 1 or 2, and then you have to go to bed. I learned this when I took care of both geriatric, which means old people, and mental patients, when I had to be locked up in a room with a mental patient, a manic depressive, for 8 hours, if I opened my heart to him, I would end up a mental patient. But what I did, I could project love to them and be empathetic but not sympathetic. One of the remarkable keys which I did in a mental hospital, I would read the Bible to mental patients. And when I did that, they would quiet down and start listening. Manic depressives, violent people who were screaming, terribly violent. As I quietly read the Bible to them, they would stop screaming, and suddenly they would move over and sit down next to me. And then they would listen, and suddenly they reach over and put their hand on my shoulder. I feel the contact of their body. They're literally crying inside, I need help, I need help, I want to get back into my body. Because these people have their etheric bodies separated, they can't control this etheric body. And through my voice, through the reading from St. John and other passages, these words started to draw them in. Then I stopped reading and turned around and gave them a hug. I said, now lie down. That was the treatment. Because mentally I couldn't touch him. Wow, 11 o'clock. I think we take a break and then we come back. One of the great teachers we have, yes? Please. I'd love it. Be proud.
I would like to thank you and to tell that the Monday this week.
Pardon me?
Monday this
Yes.
week.
Yes.
I told my wife that she had to prepare. I might go to a psychological hospital.
Right.
Because I had no more fight inside me, and I think, for heaven's sake, take care that they do not give me any medicine.
Right.
I had to get through, and then I went out here and said, now, and
Hey, come on up here.
Yes.
it is 6 weeks ago. I had a nice day, and I have not had it since it was in London.
Right.
And I went near Buckingham Palace, near the Queen's Garden, and I saw all the beautiful flowers up over the wall, and I thanked that day for the life. I had a good day in the life of life, you know. And I went down to the Thames, and I saw the sun and the ripples. I went to Tate Gallery, and I went in to have a look at Tate.
Right, I've been there.
Yes, and a man I love very much. I bought a cheap book, cheap in money, telling about a great poem and painter, and from the same period as Goethe.
Goethe? Oh, yes.
From the same period. His name is William Blake.
Oh, yes, I know.
Oh no!
You know, I was standing here and hearing all of you talking and jabbering away. You know what came to mind? My work is done. Because you're all talking to one another, communicating. But like I told you yesterday, and I tell all of you now, be in my prayers. I will have your names engraved in a plaque. They will be put in our laboratory, and our work will be dedicated to you. So we will be sharing, even though we're in Denmark here, you are, I'm in California. We become one, as not only friends, but brothers.
I do the thing.
That's what's important. Yeah, that's right, because I came here with all the love in my heart, and the best gift I could do is to bring my own wife, because she has been really my mainstay in life. I could not be what I am without her. And I wish you all the good, and thank you for this book, and I'll read it, and you'll feel many hugs coming from me. Appreciate it. I started to talk, and now I'd like to give you another gift, a wonderful gift. I learned this in 1970, talking to plants. Letting plants teach you, these wonderful plants that we have all around us, the language of nature. They're not words, because plants don't have words, but they are feelings. We don't have education to open our feeling body. Just think on it. For a moment now, review your education from the first grade on through to the intermediate grades and into the high school and college. Where are you ever taught the training of your feeling body, your astral body, the processing of your senses? You're not. The only real output of training is always competition, not love. You look at sports. What is the object of sport? What is the purpose or intention of a sport? I am competing against you. Therefore, I must be stronger than you. I must be more proficient than you. So therefore, in doing that, I put you down and I get stronger. I've had no desire for sports. People have tried to push me into sports. Because I'm a big person, they try to get me into football. I couldn't see any sense in playing football. Why should I bang my head against another person to move a crazy little ball down the field? And then we go push it over a goal line. Then we get back and we do it again and again. But for what purpose? What do we gain? How do we grow from that knowledge? How do we train our feeling body? What did I say before the break? The feeling body is the entry point for our soul. The soul takes the information of the senses, which are stored in the brain, processes it into a grouping of responses, and these are called sentics, S-E-N-T-I-C-S. The moment you think of love, your body will respond in a realistic way. It moves. When you think of anger, you notice my shoulders come in. There is a body language. But we're not trained on that. One of the teaching tools that I learned, and it came to me in a totally accidental, wonderful way, is when this young girl by the name of Debbie Sapp came to my home about 1971. And she brought a plant with her. She had heard about my talking to plants and using them as a means of observing our mind in action. She had a boyfriend with her, and she had her pet plant. And we talked about that, and she said how much love she had for plants, and that there were male and female plants. I said, really? And that some plants liked one another, and others they did not like to be next to each other. And she said she found that out by taking two plants and putting them together, and if they like each other, the leaves will just grow, and they will reach over and finally touch each other. They're happy. They like to link. They're companion plants. And she found others that when you put them there, they just start to separate. They don't like each other. They want to get away from each other. And lo and behold, when I looked into the bookstores, I found a book called Companion Plants. There's a book on the affinity of plants for each other. It was wonderful that way. But I said, Debbie, would you like to have a real experience? She said, what? I said, all right, watch. So I had her sit beside me, and I took her plant. I said, now take a deep breath. Look at the plant and close your eyes, and when you are ready, release your breath and go into the stem of the plant. And I did the same myself, and we went on the most wonderful journey together. We could watch the dynamics of the plant, movement of the fluid. We went into the roots, we went into the leaves, we went into the flower. We spent a half hour being like two kids playing around together inside the plant. When she came out, it changed my life and it changed her life. Because when I opened my eyes, I looked at her boyfriend. There was he crying like a baby. He said, I was seeing the two of you so happy, enjoying each other and having fun, and I tried to do it and I couldn't do a thing. He felt left out and disappointed. I said, well, you didn't try. He said, yes, I did, but nothing happened. So I said, come back the next week. He did. And then I started to have to train him to let go, learn how to be a child, which means not put this systematic blocks that we do, that you've got to do this, this, and this, and just let go and experience. Finally, he did. I have helped hundreds, thousands of people to learn to talk again to nature and let nature work with you. One of the most happy groups that I did this with was, above all, you can't imagine, Findhorn. They had the Findhorn community. Then in this wonderful community of working with the Devic kingdom, but none of the people ever went into a plant. They all sat back and let Dorothy McLean speak on her experiences with the Devic kingdom. They had the tapes of the other people with their experiences, but none of them had any personal experience. So with Dorothy McLean, the people from the entire Findhorn community, I took the people into a geranium plant at that time. I have a tape of this, and I treasure it, of my taking the Findhorn into their plant and experiencing the Devic kingdom for themselves. It changed every person's life because they experience personally instead of having to let someone else tell of their only experience. That's what I want to do with you now. So here's this young lady who, where is she? Right here. I told her to pick out a plant that would like to come and share itself with you. She said, this is good. So I said, fine, here we go.
You know what's called in Danish?
What?
You know? Burning love.
Burning love. Wow! How appropriate. When you want to communicate with a plant, you put your hands here on the pot, the flower pot, and it needs water. It says it's hungry. As soon as I feel, here I can feel a dryness, I can feel a coolness, a need. I'm already talking to the plant. You see what I mean? My two hands like this. I'll feed it afterwards. And I said, you've got to wait a moment.
I'll say my flowers after 3 weeks. I'm still.
I know. Because if I feed it now, then we will disconnect. Now what I'm doing, I'm waiting for a feedback from the plant, no more different than charging the crystal. I'm charging the plant. Body rotates, I just feel. So I mean, there's a change in my body now. If any of you can see aura, you will see a change in my aura. Did you see it? Suddenly there's an integration now between the plant and myself. Now we're ready. So people have neglected me. Alrighty, here we go. Look at the plant now. Breathe in. Close your eyes and visualize the plant. And now when you're ready, pulse your breath and come into the stem. Now I have joined you. Now let us get into one of the veins and go on a merry ride up the stem of the plant in the fluid part of the plant. Kind of difficult because there is not much water there now. Now we'll go into a leaf. We'll crawl around inside one of these leaves. Look at the structure of this leaf, how water is bound, locked into the leaf itself. And now understand why these leaves are so thick that they hold the moisture over long periods of time. Now let us go all together into a single cell in this leaf and watch now, all of you, the effect of love being given to this plant. There it comes. It lights up. Now crawl into this cell, sit back and relax, and watch all of the activity that goes on around you like being in the Tivoli Gardens. It's just as exciting. Now express your feeling towards the plant and watch what it says to you. All right, we'll move out from the leaf back into the stem and slide down the staircase to the roots. We'll take the main root and go down and down and down until we come to the very tip of the root. Watch the activity of this very tip of the root in the darkness. Now keep your mind focused on the root, and I will start to feed it water. Keep your minds focused. Watch the effect now of the watering of the plant. You're going for a swim. Watch the activity now of that root, the tip of the root, as I start to focus light on it, love. Here it comes. We are all one. If we allow ourselves just to be children, children of light. Move up the stem now and breathe in and out. Back into your body. Good. My dear, can I come up? Tell me what you experienced. Why?
I don't know.
What was the difficulty?
I don't want to be there.
You didn't want to be there?
Yes.
All right. Did you get into the plant?
Yes, I think so.
All right, then what happened?
I didn't see the things I wanted to see.
Ah! You didn't see the things you wanted to see.
Yes.
What did you see?
I see my heart.
Truth. What was that?
I couldn't get up it.
What?
I couldn't get up into it.
You couldn't get up.
No.
Did you get into the stem?
Yeah.
Did you get down into the roots?
Yeah.
And what did you feel in the roots?
Relaxed.
All right. feel when you're watering the roots?
Yeah. I experiment.
Right! You got bathed in the water, didn't you? Did you feel when I sent love to the root?
Yeah, it was light.
Right.
As well.
Right. So, what was more that you wanted to see?
I wanted to see the leaves, but I couldn't get up there.
Oh, next time you try.
Yeah.
You get up there.
Yeah.
Use your crystal this next time. Okay, thank you. You see, she wanted to go one direction, and she was pushed downward. Yes, dear?
I think because the plant was dry, you didn't see, those things, the cells.
I know, because they were
They
depleted.
weren't moving.
They were not moving, they were
They
quiet.
weren't moving.
I know.
You wanted to go up, but you couldn't because there was no water to
That's
pump
correct.
them up.
You see? Thank you, dear.
That's what I think.
That's very well said. Appreciate it. I had difficulty moving up myself. I had to push my way up. What experiences did you have?
It's dark up in
Right?
down in the roof,
Felt
I
better.
felt the hairs were right moving when the water came.
They move around. It just sends out little kind of like pseudopods, and it grabs the water and pulls it in.
Well, it's more movement than I had anticipated.
I know. A lot of activity. What Darwin said in his writing on the power of movement of plants, he said the mind of a plant is in its roots. The mind. Because it makes its decisions how to maintain the life. And Rudolf Steiner, in his books, shows and describes a plant as a human being inverted. The mind is down here, and the limbs are here. What experiences did you have?
Oh, very little.
Very little.
I would have. I only saw a kind of symmetric figure when I tried to enter the plant,
Right.
and I don't think don't know if it really had something to do with that. It was like this,
Right.
but each change.
That works.
It was like this, and then like this.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good.
And sometimes it was double. I don't really remember like this sometimes. But I couldn't bring that to. And then to the roots, I tried to be there, and then I saw another figure, and it was light, and it was like this. It was lightened up like
Mm.
fruit,
Right.
like this, like my symmetry is like this. Here's the opening, and then like four-sided,
Mm-hmm.
and then some bubbles of entrance or something. But it was light, enlightened. Like one root went like this with light.
You saw the vital bodies, the vitality globules that a plant will emit. You have a book here. Not right now. Here's a book, The Psychology of Botany by Cherubel. It's an old book, and it shows the various forms that he has been able to see in plants. Let me see if we get one. No. See, each plant he found had various symbolic forms. That is, this is a holly tree, and this is a form he saw. Yes, please, thank you. Holly tree, here's a form. So you may be seeing the symbolic form, geometric pattern of that plant. That may be very, very important. So you went more into the symbolism of that plant. So each, I just got a copy that Kurt had made from this man finding this book and making a copy. Now I have a copy and I'll be studying this. I'm so grateful to him and Kurt that I can take this back and put it to work now and study. Would anybody else like to speak? Yes, dear.
When we go to the cell, inside the cell,
Yes.
I saw a little glass core shining like a diamond,
Mm-hmm.
and it was love.
That's right. If you notice, every person's, and I've done this so many, many times, every person has a unique experience. It's separate, it's individual. So you're seeing your experience, which is proper for you, not a telepathic imaging, or because I don't image when I do this. Otherwise, we're dealing with telepathy. And like you wanted to do one thing, and you got the opposite, and you were disappointed for a moment. But you were given some very, very powerful insight. Reflect on that. And much teaching will come out tonight, in your dreams, and the next few days. This is not an idle experiment. It was meant for teaching, for unfolding. Anybody else like to comment? Did you experience something? Would you like to talk?
I think I got into the lead,
Yes.
and the price of the last one we did was different.
That's right. This is a different plant.
Yeah. And it was very structured.
That's right. Networking all over the place.
Very much.
And those networks were like the threads in a balloon which held water. I could see that very precisely. The thickness, the dimensioning of this leaf is its protection. It conserves fluid, water right here. So it can live for long periods of time, physically, by having no water here.
And it gives the plant more work to do if it doesn't get water enough.
That's right. You can throw it out of balance. Yes?
I was amazed that in the leaves I saw no green. I saw it was like being in a greenhouse with big windows of fluid or non-fluid.
That is right. It's entirely different. We work...
But there was no green color.
No. Yeah, there's green here, but when we're in there, like compared to the geranium that we worked in the last workshop, it was green. It was brilliant. You remember. This time, no. It's like looking through a diffusion glass because these droplets of water are locked. Did you see it too, Kurt?
Well, not precisely in that way. I was really surprised to see some insects. I couldn't understand it. I thought it was something which was made in my mind.
Go ahead.
It was in the leaf. There were just like holes in the wall, and there were sort of huge flies with their heads into those holes. I don't know what that means. It's crazy.
My recommendation, Kurt, and to when you get these type of experiences, please do not reject them. No, I mean that sincerely. Yes?
I saw all of us working in the leaf.
You did? All of us working? Good.
There's various types of work.
that neat? That's wonderful. I mean, look at the fun you can have. What I've done, I've taken the third grade children, class, third grade. I sit in the center of a circle. I take a leaf, like a plant like this. I take all the children into this experience, and they have an absolute ball. They love it because they get what you are speaking about here. They see themselves in, they start playing, and they let go. And we spent an hour together in total silence. Once you get in, yes, you want to try?
Oh, yeah, would I measure it out? Sure. How that plant actually behaves. I'm going to ask questions to that plant here. And when the pins ring out, it means yes. And I'll ask now, are you disappointed? A little bit. Are you actually cross? Thank you.
What do you mean by cross?
Cross, sure. Angry.
Angry?
Oh,
I can't get angry.
so, I found out. Good. It can't get angry. But it is crossed. I'll check again. Are you crossed? It's crossed. Good. And it has a communication to give out.
Yes.
And the communication is, when are you going to come back and what are the game? We appreciate very much that 30 people admires it and works in it as a laboratory. But it says, when I'm going to have what I gave.
Well, I just gave it water.
Now it's double cross. It repeats, when am I going to have what I gave?
Well, let's see. Let me check this plant out first. Take a look at this one.
Are you satisfied? No, to some degree. And that one, so pleased now to have a companion. Are you pleased now?
Sure.
Yes, now it's pleased.
Because it has a companion.
Yes.
That's right.
Huh?
It was missing.
Yes. And what is that?
It's beautiful.
That is the life of one.
Now, let's see if there is a field. Let's see what type of field is in this plant compared to this one.
What?
The field. How much energy is in this plant versus this one?
I'm going to measure the fields of the plant. Okay. And to be more exact, I'm going to measure the bioenergetic field of this plant. Good.
I'm going to measure this one.
I'm going to measure the bioenergetic field of this plant now. They're sharing fields now, actually. They're sharing fields.
Now let's see.
Affinity, yes.
I'm going to look at the field. What I'm going to look now is for the etheric field surrounding this plant.
And that one is still asking when I'm going to have what I gave.
Let's see. Now there's no field here in that plant. Now look at the field here. There's the field. See where my hands are held? I'm not moving.
Yes.
There's the field. And I'm going to show you something very interesting now. Watch. There's nothing. Now,
What kind of field are you asking for?
the etheric field, in other words, the vital force that is surrounding the field now. Now we take it, I'll take it down. There's none. Now, I will hold it here. Now take that other plant and bring it in to approach this one. Hold it. A little bit. A little bit further. There it comes. Now there's transfer. That's it.
Oh, it's a good friend
See it? It's starting to build. See the increment? Now, he's got it touching. Now I'll bring it in contact. Just leave it for a moment. Just like a transfusion. Now I take it away, and we'll see. We've got plenty. Transfused.
Does that have a secular sense?
What?
Or are they equal now?
Let's take a look.
It looks like they...
There. Equal strength.
Don't cost to bring up the
You see, all it had to do was just touch. Good. Thank you. You learn, but you see, once you put a field into it, you can now transfer it to another plant. Look at the teaching also we can get. We can vitalize a plant like this and give it to a person who is sick. What we can do. It starts to pump this energy out into the atmosphere, and if a person reaches over and touches it, it has that field back into them. Watch, I'll show it to you. Once you stand up, put your crystal down for a moment. Let's just check you. Your field is down. See it? I know. That's why I picked you.
You were sitting like this.
I know. I was waiting for it to go out. Once more, we'll check her out. Whoa. Watch. Draw your breath in. Reach over and touch the plant. Hold your breath now and touch the plant. No. Put your hand. No. Here. Put your hand on this way and just draw your breath in and out. Draw your breath in again. Take your hand away and slowly let your breath out. Now check the plant. See? No change. Now we look at her. Look at that beautiful person.
It's funny you do that because yesterday I was going for a walk and I was standing with a tree. I found a beautiful tree, and then I was thinking of what you learned of. And I thought, well, I don't want to give my bad things into the tree, so I did so. I embraced the tree,
Right.
and then I did some
Really?
like that because I thought, I don't know, and Ole said, you can't give anything bad to the tree.
Yeah. Let me see what happens to her now. Just relax. wonderful?
She can't even sleep anymore, this poor thing.
Thank you.
I'm just telling the plant thank you now. See how important these lessons are? Poor love, here is a wonderful living reservoir for pumping energy, your vital energy, into a form, a plant. You can give it to children, you can give it to people who are not well, older people, and your program, your thought forms will come out and vitalize the room and everything around it. Isn't that a nice way to finish today?
What will happen if a patient gives you a plant?
The patient?
A sick patient. When you reach the patient?
Oh, you have a perfect channel of communication.
Yeah.
Perfect. Because you work through the plant to the patient.
No, the other way around.
That's I receive a plant.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
No, please. I meant
Yeah.
exactly that.
Yeah.
They open their heart and they give you in gratitude a plant. Now their heart is in that plant. Now you go into the plant to the patient. And now the plant is an intermediary as the crystal is an intermediary. I'm showing you a living means of communication instead of a crystal right now. Think on that for lunch, and let's have lunch. It is 12:35. Is that good this morning? It is being diverted by the field. Now, I can go now to different levels of oscillation or vibration in that plant. Well, you, my dear, look at that plant now and just keep your mind focused on it. Just focus. There it is there. Now, draw your breath in. See? Look. Out. I'm at this distance here, so it is a dynamic indicator of the exchange of energy. Now, let's put the plant aside. And we go one quantitably to a glass of water. Oh, it was expanding and contracting. I'm sorry, yeah, because of that distance, but the field expanded and contracted as she withdrew the energy from it. Because that was beyond the normal energy field of the plant.
Marcel, therefore, I think that when you're tired and you take from the plant.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it affects the plant.
Sure.
Yeah, but it
No, be careful.
doesn't have to.
It's not affecting the plant. Here is the normal baseline of the plant. This is its energy. It's not a vital energy for a human. We, you, myself, we charge this plant. So it has a field added to it beyond its normal auric field. All right, now watch. I want to detect exactly what the normal field is for a plant. How far out does a normal field extend? So we can measure it with this. See? Very, very slight. See the deviation? Can you see it there? You'd have to. Now watch here. It's a type. See? That's a normal field. Is that clear? That is the plant's vitality. Now let us look at the difference of this plant.
Wow.
You understand what I mean now? Now, that difference between that small deviation and this is what we added to the plant. Now, that energy we can work with. This is a transformer, a holder of vital energy. And that's why I want to give this to you as the very last thoughts here, because it is more than decoration, a plant. Once you learn to inject with your mind, with intention, you can fill a plant with a field, a love, that now can permeate rooms, can invigorate people, can bring peace and harmony. You have a wonderful instrument of service. Now, I'm going to charge, instead of a plant, water. We get down to just water itself. So we'll take this glass of water and see the energy in water. Now, there is nothing here. See, the line is just straight. You all see that? And the rate of oscillation is holding constant and does not change. Now I'll charge the water. If you want to feel it, you can sit up straight and hold your hand. Check it with this. Feeling the water now? And it's growing. Look at it. Yeah. See?
Wow.
I found when I charge this, it will take sometimes up to 1/2 hour. It will continue to grow and grow when I try to measure. No, look. See? It's still expanding. It's going to fill this whole room just from the water. Now we'll try this. feels a little tired? You? What? Kurt, come here. Poor man. Let's check him. Stand here for a moment. Who worked over from all
They call him second-hand Kurt.
But we love him. Let's see what his field looks like around him now. Heat's down. Depleted. Look. Going negative. He's run the battery down
Below zero.
below zero. Okay. Now, take the water in your hand and breathe, not breathe, drink a small amount of it. You taste the water. Take a little bit more. Sorry, I don't have a better glass, but here. Compare that to this. Taste it. Now put it down. Now just breathe in and out twice. See what that's one. Way out here, now the feel. You can feel it down here. Yeah, your face is lighter. Let's check it out. That's crazy. Yeah, it's way out here now.
And he will fill the room too?
What?
He will fill the room.
That's too much.
But anyway,
Now all of you can have a sip. A glass of water, pulse your love and your energy into it, and you can. So I went from plant to water. Isn't that easy? That is the basis, please, of laying your hands over your food and blessing it. What are you doing? You're changing the form so that it is prepared to be consumed by your body. And your body then can assimilate it and it becomes palatable to the body. That's that. Now, within the time limit we have, I'm going to do the following that I promised you. Okay? We're taking the water first because it's a transfer of the love that is in my heart to each one of you through the medium of the water. Now take your crystals out. I'll take now all of the knowledge, all of the stuff that I've stored in here in my poor little briefcase. I'll pull it now into the crystal, and hopefully all of you can gulp it down in one big happy gulp. I'm just laughing. Why didn't I start this in the first place? You wouldn't have believed me anyhow. But
it has been lovely to be together.
It was. I know.
I know.
pour some in. Just fill it in, because it can be diluted almost indefinitely. Now, you didn't get the front.
We didn't get it.
Let them have it.
Not so.
Hold the crystal in your hand. Breathe in. And breathe out. Now each one of you, as you breathe in, go into your crystal with the outgoing breath. And into your crystal with the outgoing breath. Now, focus on this crystal with yours. Breathe in and direct the energies to the crystal in my hand and pulse your breath. Now I'm going to direct the information, the knowledge that is contained within me back to each one of you. Peace be to you. Now, bring a ring of white light with your mind around the crystal, and with that white light you secure that information so that it will be there for you to use whenever you wish it to be. Breathe in and out slowly. Breathe in and send love into the crystal and out. Now, there's a beautiful note that is being sounded. A lovely note. Now, please, summarize what I have said to you in words from the time we have started here in Denmark to now. And put together the teaching necessary for you to apply in how you are to work with the crystals in your practice. Breathe in. Now move ahead 1 year from now. Let your breath out and see what you will be doing 1 year from now with crystals. Bring in your teachers, the guides that are assigned to you to work with. Counsel with them to lay the ground 1 year from now, so that when you start now, you can fulfill the work you are to do. When we finish, and sometime this weekend, take the crystal in your hand, breathe in and out, and start writing the program that has been given to you now. The way you are to use the program, the activities that you are here to work with precisely. Peace be to you, and may we all go in light. Breathe in and out. Done. How many could see ahead 1 year? Could you?
I could feel an immense joy and bliss.
Tremendous fulfillment, my dear. You will be so
It was just
happy.
joy and bliss filling me.
Because what greater joy can we have on this earth plane than to serve our fellow man, to help another person to fulfill themselves? I don't know of any better. I really don't. You feel the atmosphere now? You feel quiet? Now, my friend, could you come forward? You. Take this in your hand. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in now and go into the crystal with the outgoing breath. Now, as you are in the crystal, raise your level of consciousness up till you can contact the masters. And I would like, if it is proper, for us to contact Master DK and see if he would be willing to speak through you for the good of the group that is here at this time. Eric, can you feel it? All right, good. Yes? Light? Is there any words more that need to be given to this group?
You are light.
Am I what?
You are light. All of you. It's you from a band of light. That I
You tried, my friend, when you were in body to form a group of world service. We are building these at this time now, and I am trying my best to carry on the teaching that you started when you were here on this earth plane. Is the information sufficient for these people to carry on with what was given to them these days?
when they understand what that means.
All right. When they understand with their heart